So I'm in Canada right now, visiting my girlfriend in Canada, so not in Gibraltar anymore, and I'm at a new gym, training jiu-jitsu while I'm here, just to make sure that, I'm keeping up with it, still progressing, still making these videos. So this is open mat MMA, and it's been a really good gym. I've been really, pleasantly surprised at how much I like this gym. There's a lot of rolling, and I think that's the kind of jiu-jitsu that I like. Going to class, learning a couple techniques, and then doing a lot of rolling. So today was a really good day because it was supposed to be a competition class, but all of the coaches were at an actual competition. So today just turned into basically an open mat. And I was here for about 2 hours rolling with a whole bunch of different people, which was great. Like I said in the last video, I really wanted to roll with as many different people as possible, as many different body types, skill levels, and all of that kind of thing. So yeah, I must have rolled with about 5 different people today. And so this is one of those roles. And this guy, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. I met about 5 different people. So if you're watching this, I'm sorry that I can't remember your name, but he was really, really good. And what I was trying to do is I was trying to get into some kind of X guard situation, but he pushed my knee down to the mat and was able to basically start passing from there. So we started off in open guard, and I was thinking, I've learned X guard now. I've been trying to do X guard for a while. Maybe today's the day I get, a nice X guard sweep or something like that, but it didn't work out for me. So he pretty much passed my guard straight away here. And yeah, I mean, he was really, really strong, and the technique was good as well. So it was really good rolls today. But yeah, I'm really glad to be training in Canada. I was a bit worried that I might not be able to find a gym here while I'm visiting, but I'm going to be here for about another 2.5 weeks. And this gym actually has something on every day for jiu-jitsu. They do gi jiu-jitsu and they do nogi. So I'm going to be hopefully attending a little bit of both, and it should be a good way to get quite a lot of content. But this gym's pretty big as well, so there's quite a few different people here. There's a lot of white belts, but there's also brown belts, purple belts, and a few black belts as well. And I actually rolled in this video with one of the brown belts of this gym, which was a really cool experience. You can definitely tell there's a huge difference between a white belt and a brown belt with how they feel when you're rolling with them. But yeah, this is the first roll of the day, and I didn't really have anywhere good to put my camera. This is actually the second time I've been to this gym, but I didn't want to come in the first time with cameras blazing and not really knowing anyone. I thought that might be a little bit rude. So I did do one session at this gym first, and this is like the second session now. And so I've just basically said to people who I'm rolling with, hey, like, do you mind if I whip the camera out and put this on my channel? And they've all been really cool about it and said, yeah, that's no problem. So I filmed about, I think it was 4 rolls with 4 different people. It might have been 3 different people. No, it was 4 different people. So you'll be able to see all of those different rolls that I do, with all the different people. But I think it was 3-minute rounds today. I'm not sure. The buzzer went off every 1 minute. So you'll see me during these rolls kind of looking at the buzzer, thinking maybe that the roll was over, but it's just like, one of those reminders that there's 2 minutes left or 1 minute left. If you saw that brown belt just come down the mat there, that's the brown belt that I rolled with in a little bit throughout this video, and his name was JP. Really cool guy, and he actually gave me some advice at the end of the roll as well that should be good for helping me, improve my stuff. So that's another really good thing about rolling with the high level belts. They always tend to give you, really good advice. They can spot the holes in your game because, they're just so much more experienced than you. So yeah, it was really good to roll with him. And you'll notice that some people kind of like step into the shot every now and then. I've tried to edit that out as much as possible, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But yeah, like I say, like there wasn't really a really good place for me to put my camera here, but I think I still got some pretty good footage, and you'll be able to see like, most of what's happening in these rolls. But yeah, this guy, this white belt here that I'm rolling with, he was really good at shutting down my attacks and shutting down my guard passes. And it seems to me like in this jiu-jitsu school, spider guard is hot on the curriculum. So you see here that he pulled spider guard, and my camera fell over, but someone pulled it back up. But yeah, the spider guard seems to definitely be something that is kind of a major focus for a lot of the people that I rolled with today. So yesterday when I came in and I rolled with people, I was getting hit with the spider guard pretty much every roll, and I didn't really know like how to shut that down. But I discovered during this session that if someone has you in spider guard and you just sit down, it's harder for them to like, start sweeping you or start advancing from the spider guard. So that's kind of what I did here. And yeah, that's the buzzer going off. So that's the first roll. Already pretty tired from that one because yeah, he was really good, and I had a lot of trouble really getting anywhere from the spider guard. But I think one of the main takeaways from today is that I learned a little bit about how to shut down the spider guard and how to kind of deal with the spider guard. So this is my role with JP, the brown belt. And you can tell there's a pretty significant size difference between us, but that really didn't count for much in this role. And that's one of the really cool things that I love about jiu-jitsu. It really doesn't matter like how big or how small you are. If you have technique, that is the most important thing. And like, of course, if you got two people of the exact same skill level and one of them's significantly bigger and stronger, then maybe it makes a difference. But if you got a white belt versus a brown belt, then the size difference really doesn't make much of a difference. So I'm just kind of trying to establish guard here, sort of fighting for my life. But you'll see JP is really fluid, and I guess that's something that comes with being a brown belt. You just have so much muscle memory. You just kind of put yourself on autopilot, and your body does the rest. Whereas when I'm trying to roll with someone, I'm constantly thinking like, maybe I should be putting my knee here, maybe I should be basing out here, or something like that. And so I'm really looking forward to kind of gaining that muscle memory over time and becoming more of a fluid player. But something I noticed about JP's style, or maybe this is just something that brown belts do because of the experience, is that everything they do is so precise. Their body's always tight. It's always every movement is direct and has a purpose. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Whereas when I'm looking at myself roll as a white belt and also rolling with other white belts, sometimes a foot is in a weird place or a leg is in a place it shouldn't be. Compared to a brown belt or a black belt, it feels to me like every part of their body is moving together whenever they're changing position or they're trying to advance to the next position. It's not as if they're trying to isolate my arm with their arms, but their legs aren't doing anything. It's like their whole body is all working together. They'll base with their head and put all their weight on me. Something like that. So I think that's probably one of the main takeaways from my roles with JP here, is that I need to make sure that my entire body is all working together. And so he got the tap there by doing kind of a cross collar choke and then moving around into a north-south position, and that again, like using his whole body to like tighten that up. And so yeah, that was a cool choke. And so now we start again, and I thought I'll try to play guard again. I feel oh no, that's wrong. I stand up, but I think it comes down into guard pretty much straight away again, actually. But yeah, I just need to really make sure that like every single part of my body is working together, and then it'll be a more sort of cohesive system. So I thought here, hey, I'm actually going to be able to pass here, but you can see the foot is in my bicep here in a kind of spider guard position, and yeah, I just got kicked in the face there, so that that wasn't fun, but it's fine. So from that spider guard, JP was able to pull me into more of like a closed guard when I thought I was actually going to be able to pass into side control. So it seems to me like for sure spider guard is something that's highly valued in this gym and taught as a highly effective system, I guess. But it was definitely highly effective on me in this role. So basically, now that I'm in guard, I'm just trying to figure out a way. And you can see that JP's hand is around the back of my neck on my lapel for like the majority of these rolls, and that felt really tight, really strong to me, and it really shut down a lot of the movement, a lot of the posturing up that I was hoping to do to break out of the guard. So that's something I think I'm going to explore in later rolls, in future rolls, just to de-posture my opponent if they're inside my guard. It's something I've been thinking about and struggling with when having someone in my guard, is progressing in a way where they can't posture up. And so, keep their head down and then transition into a triangle or something like that. So keeping the head down part has been something for me that has been, a difficult thing. So anyway, I'm just trying to stack JP out here and sort of get into a position where maybe I can push the leg down and transition into a side control position. I've definitely noticed, looking back on my rolls, that I have a preferred sort of system. I like to pass the guard, get into side control, and then attack the Americana. I think that's something that feels really natural to me and feels like I've had quite a bit of practice doing that, so it feels like a strong move for me to do. But you see that JP just swept me with the foot as I was trying to stack. So that's another move that I didn't realize was possible. But if someone's gonna pass my guard in the future, I'll definitely try that. So I just got the foot in time as he was passing my guard and managed to trip him over, but it wasn't a sweep because I should have pushed him further and maybe did like a technical stand up, and then I might have been able to get into an open guard position or possibly even a side control position from there. But I made the mistake of not really following through with that trip. It was kind of not really intended to happen. I think I just got lucky there and caught the foot as he was trying to pass around and tripped him up, but it wasn't enough of a trip to really amount to anything significant. And then just as I swept him there, the buzzer went off. So yeah, that was really awesome to be able to roll with a high level guy like a brown belt. And it just goes to show that size and strength are really not that important in the game of jiu-jitsu if you have your technique. And so after that roll, we just spent a couple of minutes talking, and JP gave me a couple of tips. He said, you're keeping your arms a little bit too extended in a lot of instances, and he said when rolling with bigger opponents, that probably isn't going to fly because I won't be able to use my strength to kind of push away from maybe armbar attacks and things like that. So I need to be more conscious of keeping my arms tight, like T-Rex arms. So that was like one of the main takeaways from that roll. So yeah, very grateful to JP for rolling with me and giving me that advice. So this is Dalton, a white belt at Open Mat, and we did a whole bunch of rolling in the other corner of the gym. And yeah, shout out to Dalton because he subscribed. So what's up, man? Like hope you enjoyed the video. And yeah, so we did a bunch of gi rolling and a bunch of nogi rolling. I think actually we rolled for something like 15 minutes with very little break. So yeah, it was a lot of really good rolls there. And yeah, so this is the first roll we did, and what I'm really trying to do here is my preferred style of guard passing is basically just like the pressure pass. And because I weigh like 100 kilograms, I think something that's a bit of an advantage for me is being able to use that weight to put quite a bit of pressure on the pass. And I almost got the tap there with the Americana, but it didn't feel to me like I saw his hand come up in the footage, and I thought, did he tap there? But actually, he didn't tap there, and I abandoned that Americana just before I got the tap. It didn't feel to me like I was going to get it, so I thought, you know what? I'm doing a lot of Americanas lately. Maybe I should, try something else. But yeah, man, like this has been a really good gym, and I'm really looking forward to going back a lot next week. It's Saturday now, is it? No, it's Sunday now, and so the next class is on Monday. And hopefully I'll be going every single day, so there'll be quite a lot of footage and hopefully quite a lot of improvement in my game. And I'm trying to organize a private as well with one of the high level instructors, and maybe they can, I'm hoping they'll roll with me and then just kind of say, well, this is a problem here and that's a problem there, and give me some pointers to really just figure out a couple of holes in my game, And yeah, I'm not sure if that's like the best way to get a private, or maybe I should just listen to what they have to say. Maybe they'll suggest something and we could drill some techniques or something. But I'm really hoping that it'd be cool to have someone look at what I'm doing, or just feel what I'm doing in a rolling situation, and then just like take 3 things out of it and say, these are 3 things that are wrong, or these are 3 things that you could really improve to get better. I've noticed when I'm playing guard though that I'm not tucking my knees into my body enough. I think that's a problem. And that could be like a weakness in my abs. Maybe I'm just like getting tired and I'm not able to pull my knees up to my chest for a very long period of time. But I think if I work on maybe my abs or my hip flexors, I'll be able to increase the strength there and be able to have a tighter guard basically. But yeah, maybe we should talk about the roll a bit because we had some really good rolls here. I'm definitely having success putting that top knee in when I'm holding on to the open guard and not letting them pass. That feels to me like a strong position, because if they do come up like Dalton did just there, I can actually just swing my leg in and then be in a guard position again. But he did pass the guard by pushing my legs together and kind of jumping over the guard. So that's something I have to be a little bit conscious of as well. But I think that's just a function of me not being able to, or not being strong enough to keep my knees close to my chest. Because if he's trying to push my legs together, but I overpower that by pulling my knees up into me, I can transition that probably into like a butterfly sweep or something like that, and then we can go from a pretty like sketchy guard position from me on bottom to me being in his sort of open guard on top, or maybe even sweep to like a side control thing. But yeah, I think guard retention is something that I really want to work on, because I feel like it comes naturally to me. Like I want to be kind of a guard player, and then just move from there. Um, but yeah, something I haven't mentioned is that I'm gonna probably be doing a jiu-jitsu competition in January, and so that's one of the reasons that I started this channel. And I'm going to jiu-jitsu so often, and I'm so serious about it. And it's not like I'm going to this competition thinking like, I have an amazing chance of winning or anything. Like maybe I'll win, but that's not really the point. I just want to go and like, do my best, and just know that I went, and kind of experience the whole thing. And so, yeah, I mean, doing all this jiu-jitsu stuff and making these videos is all part of like staying on track with doing that, and staying on track with the progression. So I've been really enjoying, working really hard on this, and I can definitely see that I'm getting better. Now that I've kind of made a system for myself, and I've said, I want to go into side control, maybe mount, and then do an Americana. That feels like I'm getting better at that. It feels like it's coming easier every time I'm doing it. So I'm really pleased with how everything's going, and it's been a really fun journey so far, because everyone in the community has been really positive and really friendly, and it's been really nice to like meet people and like have a bit of a social situation as well. But yeah, like this gym's been really cool, because just rolling for like an hour and a half straight is the kind of jiu-jitsu that I really like to do. So anyway, I went into side control. That's like I said just before, I was always trying to go into side control, because that feels to me like my strongest position, and then from there I can attack the Americana, which is, in my opinion, my strongest submission. So yeah, and being a bigger guy, it's always good to like use that weight in your advantage, and side control feels to me like one of those positions where weight goes a long way. So you'll see in side control, I'm always trying to kind of focus on holding one arm and then attacking that arm. So yeah, I've got like both grips on that arm, and I tried something different today. I tried to do the Kimura, but Dalton did a really good job here of keeping his arm perfectly straight, so I couldn't really get an angle on the Kimura and really lock it in. But yeah, I'm going to be here in Canada for about another 2.5 weeks, so that's going to give me a solid 2.5 weeks of really good training and progress and improvement and everything like that. And so Dalton went into like a turtle position here, but what he's not doing is he's not keeping his elbows in between his knees, so I managed to get underneath and pull him into like a back take sort of position. And that's another thing that I think needs a bit of improvement here for me, is being able to get the strangle on the lapel and from the back take. So right now I'm on the wrong side. I should pull Dalton onto the other side so that my attacking arm isn't on the mat and it's free to sort of pull. That's why I switched arms here. I was like, this is not the right arm to attack the choke here. Yeah, so I switched over and trying now to like get on top. But as I did that, I was really pulling and squeezing with the body lock. You'll see if you go back, I had a body lock, like a body triangle, and that was really tight on him. So what I thought, like, if I just squeeze the hell out of him now, I'll probably get the tap. And that's what we were talking about here. I think that was actually my first body lock that I've ever done on anybody. I think I saw Keenan Cornelius do it on someone in a tournament at some point. And so I thought maybe I'll try that. But it definitely felt like there was a lot of leverage and a really good potential for the squeeze on that body lock. And yeah, this is that's just an example of one of those things you kind of just pick up over time. Sometimes you just realize that, oh, I can attack this particular thing, and you'd never really thought of it that way before. So right now, I thought maybe I'll see if I can do like a straight ankle lock, but my knee wasn't around the leg properly, so I transitioned into the mount. And in mount feels like a pretty strong position for me, but something that I think I could improve on is sort of the mount retention from sweeps, because I found that some people, if they can trap my knee or they can trap my arm, they can sweep me from mount into bottom guard, which is a position that I kind of stalemate myself in. So once I get to mount, it doesn't actually feel like that much of an advantageous position for me compared to side control. I feel a lot more comfortable in side control. So it just means that I need to train mount retention a bit more. So after we'd done a bunch of gi rolling, we thought, how about we try a little bit of nogi? And nogi is how I started jiu-jitsu when I went to Absolute MMA in Melbourne. And so I actually have a little bit more experience doing the nogi stuff than the gi stuff. And I remember after doing like a couple of months of only no gi, I went to a gi class and I thought, well, I've done a couple of months of no gi now. I should be, not an absolute beginner in the gi. I should have a little bit of something to offer in the gi. But no, that was totally wrong. I had no idea what I was doing with the grips. I had no idea, how to use the lapel to my advantage, or how to even, defend my own lapel and my own grips that people could get on me. So it definitely felt like a no-gi is a completely different game. And you see that I got the straight arm lock over the leg. So that's something I learned in the no-gi, is that if you put your leg underneath the arm and you can't get the kimura and you can't get the Americana because the arm is locked out straight, if you put the elbow over the leg, you can get some really nice leverage for the straight arm lock. So that's what I did there, the straight arm lock. And basically what we decided here was, because we're doing no gi, we're not going to use any pants grips, even though we obviously got pants on, we're not wearing shorts. We're trying now to be purely no gi grappling, which is a cool thing to do. I mean, I haven't done no gi in quite a while, and I think no gi feels the most comfortable for me. And for me, it feels like there's kind of less to worry about. There's less sort of unnatural, unexpected sort of movements you have to learn. With the gi, you have to be conscious of your lapel and your sleeves and your pants, and like, they're not parts of your body. They're parts of the uniform. So you have to kind of train yourself to be aware of them. I think, at least that's my experience. But in the no-gi, it's almost like wrestling naked. There's nothing that isn't a part of your body that can be used against you. And so it feels like a lot of the movements and a lot of the threats, they feel more obvious to you in the moment. And so no-gi grappling came a little bit more naturally to me than jumping into the gi. But that could be just a function of the fact that I started in no-gi and then I transitioned to the gi after a few months, and all of a sudden there was a whole bunch of new stuff I had to worry about, like in particular the grips and the lapel and how that can be used against you and that kind of thing. But yeah, I think I definitely prefer the no-gi stuff, but I'm starting to really enjoy doing the gi grappling as well. But yeah, when I do the competition in January, it's going to be gi, I think. So I have to really make sure I get my gi game up to scratch. But I'm really looking forward to it. And even if I don't win, this is my kind of mission. As long as I don't get tapped out in the first 2 seconds in the first in the first roll, I'll be pleased with myself. And even if I can win one, that would be even better. But no expectations. I'm just going with the people from Kai Club in La Linea, which is like my my home club, and they're a bunch of cool people too. So it'll just be fun to go for like the camaraderie of everything. And yeah, I just really enjoy the jiu-jitsu as well, and it's going to really step up the level to the competition level rather than the sparring level that you might have in a normal gym. And even though the sparring, like you can see, this sparring is like pretty hard, I think it's going to be nothing in comparison to the competition rolling where adrenaline is really high and there's a lot at stake. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing a triangle from the bottom, and something that I'm noticing here is that I'm really struggling to get the squeeze. You can see that my legs are locked up here really well, really tightly, but there's something I'm missing here to get the full squeeze. And so I do manage eventually to get the tap here. And we do have a little bit of a discussion, a bit of a conversation about what I'm struggling with to get the squeeze here. And the problem I'm actually having here is once my legs are locked up, I'm not pulling my legs into my chest. I'm not squeezing my abs up. Because if you squeeze your abs up, that really makes that hole where Dalton's head and arm are in. It makes that hole a lot smaller, a lot tighter. And so we spent a couple of minutes here just like talking about that. He noticed that I wasn't pulling my knees to my chest once the triangle was locked up. And also, he explained to me that if I pulled the head down as well, even if I just pull it down a little bit, as long as I have that triangle locked up, that's really going to make the triangle a lot tighter. So basically, he let me put him in a triangle here and then just explained to me like, pull my head down or pull my knees into my chest. And then I'll see that, the squeeze is actually a lot squeezier. And I used to think that maybe I just didn't have the flexibility for the triangle. And I've heard that that is sort of a beginner assumption that is really a misguided assumption. And that actually, if you have short legs, or if you are a smaller person, or if you're an inflexible person, it really shouldn't matter a whole bunch for the triangle, as long as you're doing the other stuff, like really locking that, like the curve of your leg into their neck, getting the lock up properly, twisting your body to be more parallel, parallel to their shoulder line, and then squeezing your abs, pulling their head down. I think if you have all of those key ingredients locked in, a triangle should work for pretty much anyone, as long as you have legs that are functional and you're not injured in some way. Then I think the triangle should be possible for anyone if they have all of those principles in line. But apart from that, once we did a bit of that, I went straight back to old habits, which was side control into the Americana. And when I do the competition, I think that's going to be my game plan. I'm going to start. We have to start standing, right? I might try to do a sweep. And maybe next class I'll actually try the sweep I'm talking about on somebody else. It's basically a sweep where you're facing each other, and then you use, let's say, your right leg to hook their right leg on the outside, and then swing them around down into a sort of side control position. That's one I saw on a Danaher video, and I have managed to hit that a couple of times. And being sort of a larger opponent, I feel like that is it's a pretty good sweep for my body type, and it also doesn't require me to like be particularly fast. I just have to sort of grab them, swing my leg over, and then use my weight to pull them down. So that feels to me like a sweep that probably does come pretty naturally to my body configuration. So I'm going to try to do that, and then I'm going to try to get to side control and do an Americana. But you see Dalton's got me on top here, but I'm trying to turtle up here. And I think it's kind of working, staying tight. He's having some trouble getting hooks in here, but you see he did get one hook in there. So maybe my elbow needs to be even tighter in between my knees. Or maybe what I should be doing here is trying to actually do an escape from the turtle and not sticking around too long. But now he's got my back. I'm really just trying to get both my shoulders down to the mat so that I can escape. And I'm not sure if I escaped here. No, what happened was I did get down to the mat, but then he transitioned straight to mount, which honestly is probably a good thing. It's probably better to be to have someone mounted on top of you than to have them in your on your back, threatening the rear naked choke. Because once they lock in that rear naked choke, it's kind of all over. So I think that's definitely an effective way to get out of, in nogi, to get out of the back take. To put both your shoulders down. And he did shoot there for the armbar, and he did get me in an armbar earlier. But what I've been doing lately when people have been trying to armbar me is, as they swing that leg around, just push them, straight arm them, stiff arm them, as hard as I can, and then try to pull that arm out from in between their legs, and maybe transition to a side control from there. And so that's been pretty effective. But yeah, we went all the way up to the end of the mat there, so I think we decided to reset from there and go back into the position we were in before, which was basically like kind of like a side control, but more of a north-south-ish side control. And from there, it's Americana from everywhere for me. So I went straight into the Americana there. I think the main thing that really helped my Americana get pretty strong was that Gordon Ryan trick that I talked about in another video, where instead of trying to push your partner's arm directly down to the mat, if you push it to the side, there's really no mechanical strength in the human body to stop your arm getting pushed to the side if it's close to your chest. Like if you're trying to defend the Americana, you have both of your T-Rex arms together and your fist at the top of your chest. But if you push the arm to the side, and if you even just try that on yourself, you'll realize that like there's absolutely no strength. It's like rotator cuff strength, and rotator cuff is not good at forcing against that. So you're able to push someone's arm who's a lot stronger than you down. And I think the defense to that will be for them to go with you and just straighten their arm out as much as possible. But I mean, if you have their arm straightened out on the mat, even if you're not in a very good Americana position, that's still better than having both of their arms defended on their chest. So that's kind of the strategy that's worked really well for me with the Americana. So now basically what we're trying to do is we're just, this isn't really rolling, we're just, I'm letting him try a butterfly sweep on me. And basically what he's saying is he saw, I think it was a higher belt guy do a butterfly sweep on him, but he did a butterfly sweep with just one leg. So this is what he's demonstrating with me. He pulled with one leg, and then with the other leg he pushed on that knee, or hooked the knee, I should say, and got the butterfly sweep that way. And I didn't realize that that was possible. So you can see on my face that that kind of blew my mind. So I guess like if I'm ever in that position, I don't think I'll try to do the butterfly sweep with both feet, because that feels like it requires a little bit more finesse. I'll probably try to do it just with one foot, and then I'll be, landing in more of a half guardish position than in a, not a closed guard, but like an open guard position. I feel like if I'm in someone's half guard, maybe that's better than me being in their open guard. I guess it depends on the opponent actually, because some people are really good from half guard. So I don't really know. So anyway, this was Ling, one of the first people I rolled with, but I think I didn't point the camera down quite enough for this footage to be particularly compelling. So I'm sorry about that, but I just thought I'd put it at the very end, just in case anyone was, interested in watching. And Ling is pretty new. I think he said that he's been doing jiu-jitsu for 6 weeks, so pretty new to jiu-jitsu. And yeah, so we did a couple of cool rolls. One of the things I was doing quite a lot with Ling was doing a sweep from, I guess, like not open guard, but sort of both squatting down, facing each other, both pulling guard at the same time. It's a sweep from there. I kind of stiff arm and then push him over and down onto the mat so that I can start passing from there. So that was something that I was trying to do here. And you'll notice when you watch these rolls that we're really both kind of flowing with each other. We're not really sort of smashing the hell out of each other. And so this was kind of a nice chilled out roll to start the session, because this was the first rolls that I did here. So yeah, it was really good to just fight for position and not for submission. That's what they say, isn't it? So we were both just trying to kind of feel each other out and get a feel for like, the first roll of the day and warm up. That's kind of what it felt like to me. But yeah, I really love this gym. This has been probably one of the best sessions, one of the best jiu-jitsu sessions I've ever had. There was quite a few different levels of people, and I learnt a lot from all the different rolls with all the different body types. Like, as you can tell, the different people I rolled with today all have different body types and all had different styles. And so I tried to shoot a triangle here, but you can see that I'm nowhere near close enough in, and I'm not turned enough, parallel to the shoulder line to get the triangle. But I managed to transition that straight into mount, and then I think I went into an armbar from here, because I was trying to drill the armbars a little bit. So I pull the leg up so he can't turn in, and then go for the armbar here. And I think Ling knew that I was going to get this armbar, so he tapped pretty early, and that was that one. But yeah, it's been really cool to roll with a bunch of new people. It's always really exciting to meet new people in jiu-jitsu and roll with new people. So that's been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to going back to Gibraltar and rolling with the people there and seeing if I've been getting any better, and seeing if I'm a little bit more competitive than I used to be or anything like that. But of course they'll be getting better too, because we're all white belts there. So it'll be interesting to see how we've all progressed. And I'm really interested in seeing what it's going to be rolling like with Barney again, my twin brother, because, we've both been at different clubs now and learning different stuff, so it'll be interesting to see, like, what we can do on each other. But yeah, here I am taking the back, and I think I pulled the lapel and did a bit of a choke there. Something that I have noticed from the back is that if you have the lapel and you just lean back and pull it, you don't actually need that much more assistance from any other technique to get the choke there. And something that I have been doing, not in this roll but in another roll, is if I pull that lapel down, like around the neck from the back, and then put my other hand behind the head and push the head down simultaneously, that has been a pretty nice way to finish on that choke. But something I should really do is probably learn a proper system for the rear strangle in the gi, because I know that is one of those fundamental chokes that you kind of need to know. So it doesn't feel to me though that I tend to really go to the back that often. I'm not really fighting for the back that much. I don't really find myself at the back that much, but that's probably just a consequence of me not really knowing those systems yet, and not having any experience or knowledge about why it's a good idea to get to the back. I'm really more of someone who would try to get to side control, because that feels like the strongest place for me. And I think maybe I have to be very conscious of that not turning into a bad habit, because once you find one thing you're good at, it's very difficult to not just go for that every single time. So I think I should be definitely, like I'm doing here, experimenting with doing arm bars, doing stuff from the back, and doing as much variety as possible. And then again, like I say, training with a variety of different opponents and a variety of different body shapes and body sizes. But yeah, man, like you'll see me doing a lot of videos in the next few days. Oh, and I was kind of setting up for a bicep slicer there. You see, I put my leg over the top of the arms on the triangle. And what I was going to do is I was going to kind of pull one way on the forearm and then push on with the leg on the other way, and see if I could put pressure on the forearm, I guess. I guess that's like an alternative to doing the arm bar if you feel like your opponent's super strong and won't give you the arm. So I was going to do that, but I think Ling guessed about what I was going to do, and he was tapping early, and we really were just flowing with these rolls. We were trying not to go too crazy and muscle our way through each other. So it was, really, really great rolls. So that was pretty much it. That's pretty much all of the rolling I did today. Got a lot of content, got a lot of different rolls in, a lot of different opponents. And thank you for all the people who were at this gym and subscribed to the channel. I hope you enjoyed the content, and if you want to follow my journey to black belt, feel free to subscribe. And if you have any tips for me, anything that you think might help me improve and get better at the game, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about what you have to say about that. But yeah, like always, man, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.